You guys all know that I'm going to be ranting on this for this trilogy for a long time. Seriously, the prequel trilogy was so disappointing. George Lucas wrote and directed everything himself, not taking any different writers or directors to help him, which he needed because this movie is proof that after movies like THX 1138, which is his debut, American Graffiti, and of course the Star Wars movies, that he did need people to help him. And Episode 1 is the biggest proof of that. And in case you guys don't know, Episode 1 is the first movie chronologically in the Star Wars timeline where it's set during trade disputes. Yeah, that sounds awesome. What the fuck? That's seriously a stupid idea for a story, especially when it comes to a space opera that was so well renowned for its groundbreaking special effects, art, like action, great score, colorful cast of characters, and overall sense of fun and adventure. Also had the story about a civil war between the rebels and the Galactic Empire. That's what made it so much cool. It really pumped you in, really got you in. All made you all excited for the action to take place, and it worked. It satisfied you, and it was so much fun. And then this does politics. Who gives a shit about politics? Seriously. It's just boring shit you watch on TV. Especially when you're about to do voting. Other than that, it's just the same bullshit over and over again. It's just not worth anything. Episode 1 follows, introduces us to Qui-Gon Jinn, who is a Jedi who was never in the original trilogy. So same for many of the people. They had mostly new characters. And he's training Obi-Wan, and they have to go through some trade negotiations. There's a battle going on, and it's ridiculous. I mean, how can you make trade disputes thrilling? I've seen political. I don't think I've really seen a lot of political movies, but I've looked up some that are very well received. People I know that like them. Some have gotten Oscar nominations. And it's probably because they have the right way to keep us intrigued while also giving us good writing, directing, acting, whatever. You know. The problem is this movie doesn't really have a lot of that. The visual effects are way overused. George Lucas overuses CGI so much, and to be honest, it doesn't look all that great now. Well, now. Then I guess it looks kind of cool. There's some kind of appeal to visual effects. It looks nice, but in terms of the detail and how it fits in with the backgrounds, there's just so much used that it becomes blatantly obvious after a while. And also, it's just ridiculous. Also, like, the characters are not very well developed. They're kind of one-dimensional, and they're kind of boring. There's also not a lot of great characters here. Qui-Gon Jinn, he's kind of a person that almost kind of had like no point in the story. And Anakin is such... They use so many kid actors. I don't understand why. It's ridiculous. And they're not very good. Jake Lloyd being the worst is Anakin, though I don't completely blame him. He's just not very good. Anakin is kind of whiny, and to be honest, I don't really like just hearing him talk. Yeah, no, it's pretty tough to say, but yeah. There's a lot of young actors involved in the movies. Jake Lloyd playing as Anakin, who's just terrible, but to be honest, it's not his fault. It's George Lucas's fault for allowing these performances, for approving of these performances. And it doesn't help the fact that they are damaged by the fact of his dialogue being just god-awful. It's some of the worst dialogue I've ever seen in a movie. It just doesn't work. It's just so bad. It thinks, we would never do that without the approval of the Senate. That's accompanying this is the dialogue accompanied by the performance. It's so bad. Also, some of the lip-syncing and the costumes is just so bad. Is this supposed to be a joke? Quoting Mark from Fanboy Flicks. But yeah, is this really a joke? And to be honest, like some of the scenes in this movie, there's a cool battle between this villain and Darth Maul. Darth Maul's a cool villain. I think he looks cool. He also has a double-bladed lightsaber. But the problem is, he's just so one-dimensional as a villain. There's no real build-up to him. You only see him in a few scenes in the beginning with Chancellor Palpatine. Yep, he used to be a Chancellor. And then you see him fight Qui-Gon in one scene. That's just ridiculous. There's just no real depth to the character. You can just say that, oh, oh my god, he's a badass. That's just really disappointing. Do you really want to give us that? Come on, give us depth. I mean, you gave Darth Vader depth. Like, there was such a mystery behind him. And unfortunately, with the prequels, that mystery is kind of a joke. Like, you made him a kid who's kind of whiny. And to be honest, doesn't really just is ridiculous. It's also flat. There's a lot of outlandish scenes, such as like Anakin, like driving a pod racer. I mean, the pod race is pretty cool. That was actually pretty fun. The action sequences are pretty cool, actually. But some of the stuff is unbelievable, such as Anakin, who's so young, flying a ship and piloting a pod racer. Also building a pod racer, and also building C-3PO. Yep, he's scared of C-3PO. It's kind of unbelievable, knowing the fact he's so young. We know there's young geniuses in the world, but I thought it was kind of stupid. The biggest mistake that George Lucas did with the prequels was what the Force was. He actually explained what the Force was, and it involves midi-chlorians. Really? Dude, the higher midi-chlorian count is, the stronger you are with the Force. It's so fucking dumb. I mean, like, in the original trilogy... never mind, it's fine. The original trilogy, Obi-Wan says that it's what gives Jedi's their power. It really gives you that sense of, like, belief that you can actually harness that power and truly master the Force. Here, it's just biological warfare, like natural selection. What the fuck? It's so stupid. I can't seriously comprehend that. And also that there is no real emotion in the fight sequences. There's just a lot of flashy effects, destruction, and all that shit. When it comes to Darth Maul battle, it's cool, it's pretty fun, but there's just a lot of flashy choreography and effects. And also, I like listening to the score. The score does have its standout moments, especially during the Darth Maul battle. Yeah, that doesn't really help, though. There's a lot of wasted cast members. Sofia Coppola is actually in this movie. And you know, it's not surprising, knowing the fact that George Lucas is friends with Francis Ford Coppola, who also helped him co-produce one of his first movies, American Graffiti, a classic teen movie. I love that movie. It's really good. And you should watch it. If you're a fan of teen movies, just watch it. It's pretty cool. And unfortunately, it's a pretty boring movie. Jar Jar Binks is so annoying. I hate that guy. He's just annoying as a character. He's such a moron. And he's so cartoonish. This movie has no real appeal. It's only done for kids. It's also meant to sell more merchandise. It just doesn't work. Also, there's a scene involving where the Jedi have super speed. That is so cartoonish. They only use it once. And there's a scene where they could have used it, but they didn't. So why have it in the first place? It's also, that really makes it more like a cartoon. Are you seriously trying to sell your stuff to kids? That's one of the dumbest ideas I've ever seen. Maybe a 2.5 out of 5. Maybe I'm stuck between 2 and 2.5 out of 5. It's just so boring. It's so stupid. The writing's terrible. The dialogue is god-awful. The acting isn't very good. Is there any redeemable performances in this movie? Maybe Liam Neeson. He's actually close to being passable. Ewan McGregor? Somewhat. Natalie Portman? No. Sofia Coppola? No. Ahmed Best, who voiced Jar Jar? Hell no. He was so awful. I found him so annoying. I mean, why do you do this? This is not Star Wars, man. What the fuck happened to you, George Lucas? We loved you with the original trilogy. We loved you when you did American Graffiti. What happened to you? Are you really... Did you not think about doing... how about we do another story about another war? Sure, it would have been the same, but it would have been awesome. Another war. It would have been so cool. I don't know, guys, but comment below. What did you think of The Phantom Menace? Did you like it? Did you think it was okay? Did you not like it? And do you think that do you hope that actually, there's the thing I wanted to point out. Like, J.J. Abrams, the director of and co-writer of The Force Awakens, actually once I made a joke saying that he's going to put Jar Jar Binks' bones, like his remains, in a scene, and he says only 3 people will notice it. I hope that's true, because I hated him. He was so annoying. But we can only hope. So, yeah. Yeah, I really hope he does, though. That'd be awesome. Comment below, subscribe to my channel, and expect more videos soon.